welcome back to my channel. Finally, it is spooky Saturday makeup sesh. I'm excited for you guys. This is a good one, okay? This is a good one. Shout out to Bailey Syrian. She inspired me to do this video series. She does Murder Mystery Makeup Mondays, where she talks about serial killers and she does her makeup. So I was like, you know what? I love Halloween. I love it. I love ghosts. I love all things spooky, spoopy, whatever. You know what I mean? So we're going to be talking about it. We're going to talk about how ghosts were showing up in my videos. We're going to talk about Cheesman Park, Botanical Gardens, and demonic things that have happened there. Super spoopy, you guys. So if you want to see how to do this makeup look and you want to hear the scary story, then keep watching. All right, today we are going to be talking about haunted Denver sites, okay? We're going to be talking about Cheesman and little spoopy, super spoopy Botanical Garden house, Richard Campbell house. Which, by the way, I could not find a lot of information on it, which makes it even super spoopier. Okay, super spoopier. Super spoopier. Anywho, I'll try to tell you guys what I'm using as I'm using it, but don't count on it, okay? It'll be in the description bar below. So take a look at it. So we are talking about the Denver Botanical Gardens and Cheesman Park, which, by the way, I want to tell you guys, as I was doing research, and you'll see me look down because I'm getting like my products and stuff. So as I was doing research, as I was conducting my research, by the way, I'm using the Fenty Fat Water. If you haven't used this, use it. It's good. So as I'm doing my research, right, I'm like, Googling, minding my own business, Googling, trying to do some research. So I have some facts, some receipts for y'all. The first creepy thing that happened was my apps kept closing, okay? Let me fix you guys really quick. My apps kept closing on my phone. And I was like, what the heck? All right, that's weird, but whatever. So they kept closing. And so I just was like, you know what? Maybe it's my stupid iPad ain't acting right. I'm just do this the next day, okay? Next day rolls around. I'm over there trying to do research again. Freaking internet keeps going out. And I'm like, what is happening? So confused. So I'm like, what the heck? Why does the internet keep going out? Like, what is the problem here? And so finally we get like a notice from Xfinity about an outage. So I was like, okay, an outage, whatever. Not a big deal. It was an outage. Pfft. Has nothing to do with the fact that I'm looking up creepy things. So that happens. Third thing that happens. Last night, I'm getting all of my, by the way, I've just used the Plum Plump by Glow Recipe. So last night I'm getting more research done, you know, because I'm like, okay, I'm kind of looking up stuff, and Marvin, my little beagle schmeagle, he's right next to me, right? All of a sudden he starts barking at the corner, like literally barking like a crazy lunatic, like if there was something standing there. At this point I was like, I'm about to freak out. I'm about to freak out. So yeah, he was going crazy, okay? He was going nuts. So he had some like toys there, but usually like if he has toys in the corner, he'll go get them, you know? It's like he did not want to go grab the toy, like almost like if something was standing there preventing him from getting the toy. So at this point, you guys, a creepy ass orb comes out of my arm, which totally was crazy when I was editing this video and I noticed it. So another creepy thing that happened. I don't know what that was all about. I don't know if it's related. Something don't want me to know what's going on. Who knows? Okay, who knows? All right, you guys, it's showtime. It's showtime. I'm gonna make it smaller. Forget it. You know what? Whatever. I'm gonna hop off camera and do my brows. I'll be right back. Boom. Cheesman Park, which is in Denver. It was a cemetery. I'm using Dragon Beauty to cover up any dark nonsense. So, Mount Prospect Cemetery was opened in, I believe it was 1858. It was a 160-acre piece of land that was open to be a cemetery. So back in the day, you know, it was pretty segregated. and they would bury, you know, people's bodies according to race or their religion. So I'm going to insert a picture. So this is Mount Prospect Cemetery that was opened, you know, like I said, in 1858. As you see, the Botanical Gardens is sitting in the little Catholic area, and then you have your different sections of where other bodies were buried. I think you have like the Greek section and the Chinese section. So it's a pretty big area, you can see. So the one area is Cheesman Park, and then where the Catholics were buried is now what is known now as the Botanical Gardens. Each, you know, I guess religion or what have you was responsible for maintaining, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Foundation, was responsible for maintaining their, you know, area, their plots, whatever. Some areas were being pretty, you know, neglected. Nobody was taking care of them. They were, you know, just a mess. And so the city was like, you know what, enough of this. We are going to, you know, build a park, because also people that lived around that area were complaining because they felt like it was a mess, nobody was maintaining it, and it was just kind of like a big eyesore for the city. At that point, you know, that's when real estate really started booming in that area. So realtors were kind of like, yo, you know, we can't have this freaking cemetery that's sitting right here looking a mess. You know, we're not gonna get people that want to buy houses here with this cemetery all, you know, in shambles. It looks creepy. Nobody's gonna want to buy a house here. So the realtors began lobbying, you know, for it to be converted into a park. People were kind of like, what? You're gonna turn in the cemetery to a park? Are you sure about that? So finally, they got the attention of Congressman Harry Moore Teller, and he persuaded the U.S. Congress to go ahead and let it to be converted into a park. Congress went ahead and said, you know, you guys need to turn this into a park. You guys need to, you know, vacate, you know, it as a cemetery essentially, and it needs to be converted into a park, and we'll rename it Congress Park. So people were like, all right, cool, you know, well, this cemetery, so what's gonna happen to all them bodies? Like, just gonna leave them there, you know? We gotta put them somewhere. Geez, you know, you can't just build on top of them. That's crazy. They began contacting the families of the deceased and people that were buried there and said, yo, you know, this is gonna be converted into a park. Y'all gotta go. Okay? You gotta go. How rude is that? Seriously. Honestly. Imagine getting that call and being like, oh, you need to move your dead family member, okay? Because they can't be here anymore. Because they're getting evicted. Like, who does that? Who does that? They literally gave these families 90 days to move a body. How are you gonna move a body in 90 days? Honestly, seriously. How are you gonna move a body in 90 days? I mean, to me, that's just, I mean, how? So the families are scrambling around trying to find a place to move their loved ones' bodies. If people could not afford to move their families' bodies, because the people had to pay for it. The people had to pay to move their families' bodies. Like, really? You're telling me to move my family's body because you want to turn a cemetery into a park? I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying for this. Y'all need to pay for this, okay? That's what I would have said. If I was that family, that's what I would have said. Okay, I'm not coming, they ain't coming out of my pocket, but they may not pay for it. So families that couldn't afford to move their loved one's body, they began to transfer those bodies to other cemeteries in the area. The city was like, okay, cool. You don't want to, or you can't pay for it, so we're gonna just move the bodies for you. Again, rude. Very rude. Very rude of you, City of Denver. In 1893, the City of Denver commissioned E.P. McGovern to move the bodies of, you know, the ones that either their families couldn't afford to move, or that of the bodies that no one like claimed. So the bodies that no one claimed, they figured, you know, either, well, they determined either the people didn't have families, or the individuals that were buried there were either like criminals and like died in prison, or, you know, got executed, whatever. So E.P. McGovern He was a bad man. He was a bad man, okay? He was a bad, very, very bad man.
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
He was like, okay, let's start moving these bodies. So he was supposed to, okay, supposed to remove these bodies respectfully. Obviously, they're a body. Regardless if anybody claimed these bodies or whatnot, at least, you know, remove them with some kind of respect. They're still a human being. You know, the city was like, you need to remove them with the most respect and, you know, put them in new caskets and bury them, you know, in other surrounding cemeteries. Transfer them to Riverside Cemetery, and the cost of that was going to be $1.90. Work began March 4th, 1893, to start exhuming the bodies and putting them in new caskets and transferring them to the Riverside Cemetery. So on March 14th, they all got together and started exhuming all these bodies and started putting them in the caskets. Now, the first few days, the transfer of the bodies was going good. Everything was, you know, in order. People were doing what they're supposed to. The transfer of the bodies was, you know, just trucking along accordingly. EP McGovern thought, you know what? I'm going to put these full-size adult bodies into child coffins because child coffins are cheaper. Because the coffins that he was using, like I said, were the child coffins. So they were like 1 foot by 3.5 feet or something like that. So how do you think he started fitting those adult bodies into the coffins, guys? Any idea? Anybody? Bueller.
Bueller. Bueller. Bueller.
He thought it'd be a good idea to start hacking up these bodies. He was literally dismembering these bodies and stuffing them into a child-like coffin. Did he get haunted? You know, I mean, did some of these spirits be like, excuse me, sir, you're not gonna hack me up and throw me in a child coffin? I always wonder that. I wonder if he like had any paranormal experiences. So he's doing this and moving these bodies to the other cemetery in these tiny little childlike coffins. EP, that little nasty, would sometimes, people reported, that he would go as far as to stuffing 3 bodies into 1 child coffin. 3 bodies. Just chop them up, throw them, shove them into the childlike coffin. No, sir. As EP's staff and himself were doing this, they were doing it in such a, you know, messy manner that there were body parts just thrown all over the place, okay? Just thrown all over the place. This fool eventually gets caught, okay? The city gets word of this. Somebody ratted him. Before that, it's estimated that he made somewhere around $99,500 to $250,000 roughly, okay? Because he was inflating these charges and, you know, charging for work basically he wasn't doing. So, like I said, somebody ratted him out, and what ended up happening was the newspaper, which at the time I think was the Denver Republican. The Denver Republican came because they heard, you know, little birdie came and said, yo, homie over here, he's chopping up bodies and putting them in, you know, kid caskets, child caskets, and he's shady. So you might want to go investigate. Might want to go investigate that. Something ain't right over there. So the Denver Republic reported it and they published the story. Well, people were outraged. Okay, EP McGovern was fired. Like they said,
Fire! You fire! You fire!
They hire somebody else to do the job. Guess what happens? They are even a messier company. They don't even remove the rest of the bodies. They don't even remove the rest of the bodies. They start leveling the ground and start preparing it for a park. How nice, huh? Isn't that lovely? To this day, there's about estimated 2,000 bodies still buried underneath there. 2,000 bodies. 2,000 bodies still buried over there underneath the park. If that doesn't make you unsettled and uncomfortable, I don't know. Fast forward to like a bajillion years later. In 2010, city workers were fixing the irrigation system and started uncovering other bodies. Prior to that, in 2008, a whole row of coffins were discovered. That was by Botanical Gardens. So they had to get those and move them. A whole row. To this day, people say, and there's been a lot of reports of this, so I'm sure it's probably true. I've gotten creepy feelings when I've gone over there. I won't go over there at night, I'll tell you that. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Hell no.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no.
Won't catch me slipping there at night. No. Apparently, people have reported seeing apparitions. Oh, by the way, rewind. How they named it Cheesman was Walter Scott Cheesman, his widow, came and donated a bunch of money. And they named it Cheesman Park after him and donated, well, had a little, I don't know, gazebo, not gazebo, I don't know what it's called, a little structure built in the park, which is still there today. So that's how it got its name. Now, people report seeing apparitions at night. They also report seeing headstones at night. I've never been there at night, like I said, so I can neither confirm or deny, but a lot of people say it. Also, another creepy thing that people say is, or that have reported, is when they're laying, you know, just having a nice little afternoon in the park or towards the evening time, they're laying on the grass. When they try to get up, they can't. A lot of people have reported having the feeling of something like holding on to them, grabbing them. You'll never catch me laying down in that park, let me tell you. No. I've reported also seeing children and other ghostly apparitions. Some people have reported seeing demonic apparitions, and I wouldn't doubt it. 26, the Richard Crawford Campbell house was built. I'm gonna show you a picture. Now this house is creepy, you guys. This house is super, super creepy. Richard Crawford Campbell moved to Denver with his wife. They end up buying the Crook Patterson Crawford house, which, by the way, word on the street is the Botanical Gardens in the basement and that Crook Patter mansion, whatever, they both have a portal to HE double hockey sticks. And we're going to talk about the Crook Patterson mansion on our next episode of Spooky Saturday Makeup Sesh, because that, my friends, that has a lot of scary stories. And I'll tell you what happened to me when we were in front of it. It was not a good feeling. Back to the Botanical Gardens. That was built in 1926. And somehow they're saying that the Botanical Garden House and the Crook Patterson Mansion are somehow connected. Whether they're connected by this demonic realm, we don't know, but there are reports of demonic things happening in the basement of both places and within the Crook Patterson Mansion house, which we will get to on our next episode, because that place is super, super creepy. I will never step a foot in there. Absolutely not. What's happening to the botanical house is it's essentially sinking because it has all those bodies underneath it. So it's starting to sink. It used to be a cemetery. That's why, people, you don't build a building on top of a cemetery. By this time, and I don't know what year this happened, okay? I don't, so don't ask me, because I don't know. There were a group of construction workers going to go down in the basement because there were some piping leaking. Bob and Larry, okay? We'll just call them Bob and Larry. I go down there. Bob's like, yo, I need to go check out these, you know, circuit breakers or whatever, whatnot. And, you know, you do whatever you gotta do. Larry's like, all right, Bob, you're gonna go check out the circuit breaker. Fine, whatever. I'm gonna, you know, go down here into this crawl space and go see what's going on with the foundation and all this, you know, nonsense down here. Cool. Goes down there, starts tinkering around, and all of a sudden, Larry feels something pull his leg. Something pull his leg. Goes out to Bob and he's like, yo, did you just pull my leg? Bob's like, no, I've been over here with these circuit breakers. What are you talking about? So Larry goes back to the crawl space and he notices it starts to get like a little cold. Notices that it's getting abnormally cold, like super freezing. So he's working along and all of a sudden he feels somebody grab his legs and he gets pulled violently down the little crawl space. His legs start burning and he starts screaming. He felt what felt like hot nails going down his legs. So he starts screaming, okay? He's screaming bloody murder. His little coworker, Bob, comes and is like, dude, what's going on? What's wrong? He hauls ass out of there. Hauls ass out of there. So Bob follows him out there and he's like, oh my God, what happened? Did you get like electrocuted or something? Or did you see a bug or an animal or something? Like, what is the problem? He lifts his pant leg and blood is streaming down his leg, literally. And on his leg, he has 3 claw marks on each of his calf, just down from, you know, where your knee bends, all the way down from there, all the way down to his ankles. And they're deep, like these are deep. So I was like, did an animal get you? He's like, no, dude, that was not an animal. There's something demonic down there. I know it because I felt it. It was freezing cold. And then all of a sudden, something grabbed me and pulled me. I know it was something demonic. I'm out of here. Like, I'm out of here. You can stay here if you want to. I'm not. I quit. I'm out of here. I know that was something demonic. It was a devil. I have no idea. But I'm not staying here to find out, dude. Like, I'm out of here. I quit. I'm not going to stay here. He's like, dude, we got to finish this job. It's a lot of money. I don't care how much money it is. I'm leaving. So he takes off. Never returns back. Next creepy thing that happens is you have another person working down there. Not working down there, but they end up making the basement the accounting department. They convert the basement, I guess, into the, like, accounting department. Payroll, accounting, whatever. And everybody that works there knows, like, hey, I'm not staying here after dark. I've heard the stories of all the creepy things that have happened. You ain't gonna catch me slipping. So everybody usually leaves, you know, around 5 or whatever. If they have to stay late, they surely don't stay there after dark. Okay, they're gone. They are gone. On this particular night, Mary, like I said, we're just gonna call her Mary, is like, you know what? I have a lot of work to do. All these stories, all these ghosts, she doesn't believe them. She doesn't believe them. She feels like they're fabricated. People exaggerate. They're just tall tales of nothing, right? Well, Mary decides, I need to stay late and finish these reports. I can't leave because I'm going to have these reports tomorrow and I don't want to have to come back to work tomorrow with all this work that I need to finish. So I'm just going to stay late. You know, nobody's here. I can finish what I need to do in peace. And nobody's going to be interrupting me. And I'll leave when I'm done. So she's working, you know, doing her little payroll, accounting business. And she hears what's like, sounds like three taps. She's like, that's odd. Nobody's here but little old me. Keeps working. She hears it again. This time it was like a little louder, right? She's like, what the heck? You know, is somebody still here? And they're trying to, you know, my coworkers are trying to play a joke on me, okay? They're just trying to scare me and I'm not falling for it. Or somebody else is still here. I don't know. She's like, whatever. By the way, I will be putting on our lashes in Brie. We still have some on our site. Shameless plug. Shameless plug, people. Go to our site, Michelle's Beauty, to get you some today. She hears the 3 taps again. This time, way louder, okay? Way louder. And now, at this point, she's scared. Like, and now, at this point, you're scared? I wouldn't even stay there at night. Mary, get some common sense. God's sake. She gets scared. She's like, I think I'm gonna leave. Starts packing up all her stuff. And she starts feeling a little uneasy. Like, she's scared, right? Obviously, I would have been scared. I would have been scared at the first 3 knocks, okay? Because we all know what that means, okay? We all know what that means. And for those of you who don't, supposedly, hearing 3 knocks like that means that it's you know who from HE double hockey sticks. No. No, no, no. So if you guys hear 3 knocks, you better hightail it out of there. You better go. Run away. She's getting ready to leave the basement to go up to the first floor so she can leave the building. But before she can do that, she has to make sure all the cash drawers are closed, you know, and all her money's accounted for or whatnot for that day, because obviously she can't just leave it there. She grabs her bag and all her things. And by the way, this is apparently a true story. So she grabs her bag, and the other one was too. She grabs her bag, she's getting ready to head out, and she's getting ready to head upstairs from the basement, and she hears a loud growl behind her. She freaks out, and then all of a sudden, boom, she feels something grab her from her back. Gone. She's gone. Finito. Sayonara. Sayonara, Mary. Should have left the first time you heard those 3 taps. Nobody told you to stay. No overtime is worth that for me. You can have your overtime. Pfft. I ain't staying there. So she's gone, right? Gone. Finito. Fast forward to the next day. It's morning time. Employees are starting to show up at work. And they are coming up to the front of the building, you know, the Botanical Garden house that we're talking about. Walking up, and they notice Mary on the front lawn, completely passed out. They don't know if she's dead, if she's alive, but all of them are like, what the heck? And they all knew that Mary had stayed late to work late. So they were all freaking out. What the heck is she doing here? What is she doing on the lawn passed out? So they run to her, and they're trying to essentially wake her up, you know? They're shaking her. They're like, Mary, 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 what happened? Are you okay? Are you okay? She sits up, and she's literally is lost. And she's like, what? Like, looking around like, where am I? Like, we just found you on the lawn. You're passed out. What happened? Did you fall? Like, were you coming to work early and you fell? And she's sitting there just puzzled, okay? Puzzled. She's trying to remember what happened. So, because they're asking her questions. Like, what happened? You know, should we call 911? She's like, I was working last night in the basement, and I was hearing all these crazy noises, and it frightened me. So I was getting my stuff, and I was leaving, and I don't remember anything after that. By the way, she looks around, and all her belongings are just thrown all over the front of the lawn. So she's like, I don't remember anything that happened after that. And then they're trying to basically help her up, okay? Because obviously she's still on the ground. So she's getting up, and she kind of screams in pain. And they're like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? Are you okay? Are you okay? She's like, my back's hurting. And everybody's like, oh, well, let's see. You know, maybe you hurt yourself when you passed out, you fell, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Mary's like, hold on, wait. I remember what happened to me last night. So I know. Look at that gloss, you guys. I need to have a moment. I can't wait till you guys try our new glasses. They are the bomb, okay? Anyway, so I remember what happened to me. She's like, I remember what happened to me. I was getting my things, and prior to that, I was hearing these weird noises, and I heard a growl, and something grabbed me from my back. Check my back, check my back. So they lift her shirt, and on her back, she had 3 deep gashes, huge scratches on her back. She's like, what's wrong with my back? What's on my back? And they tell her, like, you have 3 big scratches on your back. At that moment, she totally freaked out. She's like, I'm never coming back here. I quit. There's something demonic down there. That was something demonic that grabbed me. It was not of this life. It had to be a demon or something. She's like, I'm out of here. So she quits. Word on the street is she moved from Denver, and she now, I guess, lives in Colorado Springs now. And I guess she won't even talk about what happened anymore because it was just so traumatizing to her, as it would be to anybody, okay? As it would be to anybody. I would get traumatized. I wouldn't even work there in the first place, okay? So that is it, you guys, of those scary stories. I think they're freaking creepy and scary. The Patterson Crook mansion that we're gonna, or however you say it, that we're gonna talk about next Saturday, is even more spookier. Way more crazy things have happened there. But I don't know, to me, you get scratched like that with 3 scratches and something grabs you and you don't remember, the next thing you know, the next day you're thrown on the lawn. I cannot. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you liked our spooky Saturday makeup sesh. Hit that notification button to be notified the next time I upload a video. So I will talk to you guys later. Keep an eye out for my lip glosses that will be dropping very, very soon. And that's about it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this spooky Saturday makeup sesh. And until next time, stay super spoopy. Bye, guys.